Hi, my name is Crystal, and this video is about what I understood from the book 2 Second Lean. The 2 Second Lean book is about Paul, who is the owner of FastCap. He talks about his experiences and why he implemented Lean, as well as how it helped his company. He tells you how you can use Lean to improve your business or life. Questions on what Lean is and common questions asked to Paul are answered as well. He also gives links and images on Lean you can view and gives lots of examples on how Lean has helped other companies. Lessons I learned. In Chapter 1, I learned that I should keep an open mind and try new things, even if I am confident in my skills, so I can avoid missing out on crucial opportunities for success. I think it's hard to be open-minded sometimes because you are taught at a young age what is the norm in your family's beliefs or society. I think it takes a lot of strength to accept new things and look at your beliefs and ask yourself, is this right? Or maybe I've been thinking about this the wrong way. And it's something that not everyone is willing to do sometimes, to admit that they were wrong. In Chapter 2, I learned the value of taking a step back, looking at what you have, and asking for feedback to improve daily. I have done this in the past, not for business, but for art. I am a perfectionist, and because of this, I spend too much time in one detail that from a distance wouldn't be visible in my art anyways. So I think that this is good advice. In Chapter 3, I learned that Lean is about eliminating waste and creating a culture of continuous improvement and respect for people. Chapter 3 was counterintuitive to me because I would think that doing things in batches would be good for everything. But once you think about it more, it starts to make sense why they can be bad sometimes. As someone who eats out a lot, I feel guilty each time I buy food because they always give takeout trays that aren't biodegradable. So I always bring a bowl and go to places that accept putting my takeout in the bowl. But you can't do that with every product. So I appreciate it when companies don't add unnecessary packaging or try their best to make things friendly to the environment. As customers, we have the power to boycott companies we don't like for their unethical practices. So, when there is a bad company, we can make a difference by not supporting them with our money. In Chapter 4, I learned that applying Lean shouldn't be a chore, but rather a natural routine that one does daily, and the 8 wastes one needs to look out for. I can relate to this because I hate doing chores, but if I don't do them, then my room ends up all messy and crowded until one day I can't take it and I clean it up just for the cycle to repeat. So, when I put on music while I clean up my room, it makes me look forward to it. So I think forming a habit is important. In Chapter 5, I learned that I should take a moment to think about what bugs me and find time to find solutions and apply them. If you don't take time to fix what bugs you, it could be taking away time from you, even if it doesn't seem like a big deal. I haven't done this much before, but I would like to start on improvements in my life. In Chapter 6, I learned that Lean is about growing a community at work, where everyone understands Lean and why it needs to be done 24/7. Without the people, a company cannot operate. As this quote says, "You're only as strong as your weakest link, so you've got to make sure everybody on your crew is on point." In Chapter 7, I learned that lean doesn't have to be complicated, and sometimes overthinking it can make it inaccessible. The 3 S's can be done first thing at work and can create a culture of simplicity and continuous improvement. I like the thought that pretty much anyone can do this. I feel that there are some things that are inaccessible to us because of a criteria we don't meet, which can be frustrating. In Chapter 8, I learned about taking some time to discuss issues, concerns, and ideas for a moment to think of how to improve processes. It's also important to learn how to speak up and be a leader, because once you do, you gain the confidence to show your skills to other people. Investing in people is like investing in the company's future. I hadn't given much thought to this before. In Chapter 9, I learned that taking a moment to think of how to improve something by 2 seconds is beneficial in the long run, because with enough 2-second improvements, it could add up to saving a lot of time. I learned that to learn a new habit, you need to 1. Think about what you want to do, 2. Check on your progress daily, and 3. Support your habit, doing it daily. It reminds me of the 21-90 rule by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. It takes 21 days to create a habit, 90 days to create a lifestyle. Although this quote is incorrect nowadays, I think it relates to lean. I learned that having trust in others and letting people do mistakes will lead to people becoming better problem solvers. In Chapter 10, I learned about the significance of creating a culture of continuous improvement by starting with the bathroom. The 3 principles of leaving everything better than before, respecting people, and creating an inclusive standard for everyone to access are essential in developing a lean culture. By simplifying the cleaning process with a sign and settling on one cleaning product, FastCap was able to create a perfect process that anyone could execute. This chapter taught me that starting with small improvements and adhering to lean principles can lead to significant results. In Chapter 11, I learned that lean can transform your life or company. It teaches the value of sharing and giving back to the community, which can benefit future generations. It's about starting small and having big ambitions. I have many ambitions right now, but I'd like to start by completing my education first. Chapter 12 talks about extreme lean. It is described as obsessed with removing waste, never being contemplated with the current process. I thought that it was counterintuitive what Paul said about reducing the budget for their marketing and advertising team when the economic depression hit in 2008. I didn't even know about the depression at that time. I was only 4 years old after all. I learned that you just need to make do with resources that are affordable and available to you. It's not the equipment that makes things good. It's the skills you develop over time that do. In Chapter 13, it talks about humble lean, where you should be complimenting and acknowledging your employees. It removes office politics and toxicity. I learned that it is better to not have an ego at work and to be humble about yourself and others. In chapter 14, I learned about the 3 pillars of lean. I learned it is about seeing waste, improving everything continuously, and show before and after videos of each improvement you make. When Paul mentions how it took him 2 years to make a video because he wanted his to be perfect, I could relate to it. If you look at my first video, it's an animation I made for a summer course of what I learned in forensics. But I had no animation experience before. So I made the animation without any experience and with limited time. I was able to get the animation done in 3 days, but the quality was bad. Even then, everyone at the summer class liked it, and I got to learn about what I should avoid doing next time for my animations. In chapter 15, Paul mentions many questions that have been asked to him. I learned what austerity was since it was mentioned in the book, and I didn't know what it meant, so I googled it. I also learned to focus on my own wastes, not others, because we already have lots of waste with our own lives to worry about others. But you can show others how to do lean and be a role model. I thought it was counterintuitive to stop everything you were doing just to do the 3 S's. But now that I think about it, it makes sense. Because if your process is taking too long, then you should be eliminating the thing that makes your process tedious. I learned that there are many types of lean: 2-second lean, global lean, collaboration lean, advocate lean, golden rule lean, and even kindergarten lean. In chapter 16, it talks about concepts already mentioned in the past chapters as well as new ones. I learned about the word kata. It means rhythm in Japanese. I think the chapter is about trusting other people and recognizing each other's efforts. Like, without teamwork or a good team, you won't get much done. In chapter 17, I learned that you can organize waste. It confused me what that meant, but the example given helped me. It talks about the waste of overproduction and how you could have an inventory that is organized with labels and everything, and it would still be waste because the inventory would be a result of overproduction. I learned that it's common to confuse organizing everything as lean when it is about eliminating waste or unnecessary movement. I learned that lean isn't supposed to take jobs away, it's supposed to add more opportunities. If you know lean well, then many companies will want to hire you. In chapter 18, I learned that you should be eliminating people who like receiving things rather than giving things. It reminds me of a video or GIF I watched before that I can't remember now. It also reminds me of the quote of not being a doormat to others, which means standing up for yourself and to be on the same level as everyone around you. I think this quote would have helped everyone when we were younger, to not waste time with the wrong group. When you give to others, it will inspire people to start giving to others as well, creating a positive cycle. In chapter 19, I learned that we all create waste 90% of the time. I learned about something called the spaghetti trail. It's a lean exercise to predict how someone would walk to complete a process. We should be taking advantage of the fact that we can communicate, think, and do complicated things that most animals can't do at our level. In chapter 20, I learned that even if your company doesn't support your efforts to do lean, you should still do it because it can make an impact and cause others to follow along with your implementations. I learned that being a leader that puts everyone before themselves is a good leader because they are always wanting the best for everyone, but they still possess qualities that make them respected and not someone who is a pushover. In chapter 21, I learned that simple is the best because if you add more details to a process, it might become confusing, slow, and tedious. If your process isn't done in a way that makes it enjoyable, then it is not worth it and it should be improved upon. In chapter 22, I learned that to market lean successfully in an email, you should make it simple with barely any words and ask an interesting question that directs your reader to a video you want to show them. In chapter 23, it talks about the new building Paul made that he wanted to make but couldn't because of the 2008 depression. What I learned from what he did to the building inside is that once you make something convenient, it will be hard to stop doing it. This reminds me of an episode I watched where someone wanted to lose weight, but they were too addicted to junk food because it was all over the place within reach. So they threw away all the stuff that wasn't necessary and locked away junk food they still wanted to eat but would require effort to access it. In chapter 24, I learned what it takes to be able to tour FastCap's facility. He says that the book is not to learn about lean, but more about how to build a lean culture. This means creating a community that will pass down the lean philosophy in a way that won't affect your company. He also recommends reading the Toyota Way book after touring FastCap. I have been reading it, and it is like a fairy tale of what Toyota experienced, like Cinderella. Thanks for hearing me out. Do me a favor and share the video with others. Have a nice day. Bye.